Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I thought it shut off there. So let's start this meeting to order. Meeting has been called to order. Um, let's start with declaration of conflicts of interest. Any?
Nope.
No? Okay. Okay. That's good. And then approval of the previous minutes. We have a seconder for that? Or
That's Margaret.
Margaret moves,
okay.
and
Okay.
I can second.
Okay, perfect. So the approval for the minutes of the June 15th has been approved. And approval of the agenda. Do we have everything for this agenda? Is there any additional things we'd like to add to it?
There's nothing extra on the agenda he sent out. We had talked about electing a co-chair to replace Peter.
Okay.
That was somewhere in the notes I saw. I don't know if we need to do that tonight for sure, or
Probably not. Can we wait
if
till
we should wait.
September? Do you think till we get
Yeah,
to?
you might want to wait until the new members come in. You don't
Yeah,
want to
that makes
really.
sense. Yeah.
It would make you feel uncomfortable if you pick other people and like they might have something to say. That's my advice.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so approval of the agenda has been approved. Okay.
I
And-
will move. I need a seconder.
I'll second.
Okay, perfect.
I'll second.
And okay, and now reporting from department liaison. Do we have a report for public works?
So there's a couple things for me wanted to talk about.
Sure.
One was I know that we had talked about the signage. There was signage and line painting and stuff like that, and that project I guess got delayed quite a bit. But I guess you've seen some of those signs around town that are starting to go up now.
I am
Maybe.
thrilled to see them. Oh my goodness. I'll just
So
interrupt, Jason. I was
Go ahead,
coming
yeah.
down Brackley Point Road 2 weeks ago and I started seeing these bike lane signs and I couldn't believe it. And a nice white line
Oh yeah.
straight down.
Yeah.
So you can't help but miss bike lane sign and see the white line. And Mount Edward Road is incredible because when you get down, if you're coming from the arterial highway trail or whatever, and you're coming down Mount Edward Road, there's one that even says bike lane, and then it goes share pathway, and it's a arrow pointing in front of the mount, and like that's what we talk about. So it's like there's our lingo, right? And then at the bottom of Mount Edward Road, when it comes to Belvedere, it says bike lane ends, merge with traffic. And
Right.
so that lets the cyclists know that they're not sort of protected any longer. And what I've really noticed around Charlottetown, it's the same on Kensington Road, I've been cycling a lot, is that when you have a left turning lane in the middle, the bike lane disappears. So the cyclist really kind of either has to go with traffic, get off and walk their bike up on the sidewalk, or just, this kind of thing. It's very unfortunate, but it's good that you know that, when the bike lane ends.
Yeah, it's a great start to see, and I talked to Ramon about it. She said they're doing that and they're doing the painting, so it's just taking a lot longer than they thought it would. So that was really good to see. Peter had reported to me an area that he saw. I'm going to report that to the city of just a area that didn't look very good. And the other thing I was thinking too, and I know when the mayor was here last time, we kind of mentioned it a little bit, but the more and more I see it's kind of this construction happening around town, I really think if we can get I think the biggest thing that we could do immediately, and that would be very helpful, is to get the city to adopt the proposal of any, basically, if there's a road being built, that one side is sidewalk, the other side is active transportation. I think that's something that, if there's anything we can push for in the next 6 months, is to get that like officially on their books to say that's what we do. And I'd even like to see it for sidewalks they're replacing, because I noticed there's some sidewalks around town that they're starting to replace in big chunks of them. And, you know, if one side of the road, instead of being sidewalk, was active transportation, I think it solves a lot of problems in the fact that, one, you're getting an active transportation trail, but two, you're not removing anything. Like, one of the sore points of any type of bike lane anywhere is when there's conflict between walkers and riders, or riders and cars. And, you know, if one sidewalk goes active transportation, that means nobody loses parking, that, you know, accessibility is still there, but we get a lane as well. So I think if we could get the city to adopt that and put it in writing, I think that would be a really big thing for the city.
So Jason, before Heather finished with the you and Heather had put, worded that policy, and Heather put a motion, and it went to the Sustainable and Environmental Committee, and I think it passed there. But from there, it has to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So what we need to do you think, is find out if it's gone from there and who has it now?
That, and I think I don't know if we need to talk to a few of the councillors to get them to champion it, because it is something that's going to affect all of them, right? And it is a good initiative. Like, it really checks a lot of boxes for a lot of people, from walkers to bikers to disabled to, you know, a lot of people. So I'm sure they would all be before that motion.
Okay, that's really good.
Maybe what I can do then, I'll check in with Ramona and see if she knows where it's at, or the mayor.
All right, will you do that? And then will
Yeah.
you let us know on Teams?
Sure.
Keep us up to date on that progress?
Yep.
Okay, that'd be good. Is that okay with everybody else?
I completely agree that this is a really important thing we could do. And so, just to clarify for myself, my memory, so you guys wrote this proposal already, right? You've done the research, it's gone forward. Yes?
Yeah, we did.
Yes, the motion was done, and it went to the Sustainable Committee, and I think they passed it. The one that Ramona sits on, it's a committee of council. So from there, it has to go to somewhere else to get some action. Obviously, it should go to Public Works, but I don't know, as Jason is telling us, if it has to go to council first before it becomes policy and then be given to Public Works. I don't know. So Jason has offered to search that out for us.
Okay, so Jason will find clarification on what comes next. Is there anything else we can help with or do?
No, I think that's good. It's just, there's a lot of stuff, and I mean, not even stuff we're doing. It's just like, it's nice to see some of the stuff coming together in the city. Like, just kind of anything the province is doing is gearing towards active transportation, which is nice to see. So it'll be nice to see up St. Peter's Road when all this construction is finished too, because they're putting in the active transportation lane there too. So.
No, I have a question related to it as well. So the bike lane signs, are they going to be only on the sidewalk areas, or are they going to be on the like proposed pathway lanes as well? Because I'm pretty sure today, when I was wheeling down the street on Maple Avenue, there was a sign, bike lane, that was like right on the sidewalk. And
I saw that too. It was a little confusing for me, and I think what it's meant to say is it's the white line between the sidewalk and the road. I think what happened, they've got the signs up, but they don't have the painting done yet. And I think the painting is going to have the bike sign on it. I can clarify with Ramona to see what that is, but I think that's
Okay, because
yeah.
yeah,
I don't put that sign like in the pavement area because of snow clearing and stuff like that in the winter. Like they'd probably get destroyed.
yeah. So, but over time, it should be in the bike lane itself, like on the side of it or
Yeah,
somewhere,
and I
not
mean,
on
I
the
think
sidewalk.
there's three types of lanes now. There'd be a sidewalk, which is your concrete, and then there's the white line between the sidewalk and the road, which would be the bike lane, and
Yeah,
then there would be uh, an active transportation trail, which could be anybody. It could be biking, walking,
yeah,
rollerblading,
or wheeler.
or an electric bike because they passed that new legislation
Mm.
provincially now for the limits and things like that. There's a guide that's been passed as of last week, I think it was, for e-bike use, and it was stating that the maximum speed that a battery powered um, e-assist can go is 30 kilometers an hour. So that's kind of an active transportation thing, but that definitely wouldn't be a sidewalk where you should be with that.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the midst of buying like an additional thing on my wheelchair so that it would give me that ability to have like to go 20 miles an hour. So it might be a plus to get something like that just to be since I'm in this group. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Okay. And so do we have any more issues for public works? Or like,
Oh.
no, we're good. Okay. Moving on to parks and recreation. And I know Peter's gone and it was kind of a split, me and Peter um investigating that, and I don't have a report today for Parks and Rec. I'll have to call them next sometime during the week and figure out. Next one is police.
Oh,
Do we have a
excuse me, Ryan, I'm going to interrupt because I had an email from Peter as a citizen
sure?
of Charlottetown, now that he's not on the committee, and it's regarding
Okay.
a park. And I shared it on Teams, and the only person that responded that they saw it on Teams was Jason. So I'll repeat it
Okay.
again. Peter was cycling in a few weeks ago in the Confederation Landing Park, and
Okay.
an official stopped him and asked him not to cycle in the park. That apparently a child had been hit by a cyclist in the park, and cyclists were no longer or never were allowed in the park. And Peter didn't have a problem with that. Now, I don't know if there's signs posted. I don't know if there's a bike rack there. And further, I guess if that's the way it is, maybe a sign should go up saying, walk your bike. Bikes aren't permitted, walk your bike. Because it's no big deal to go down to Confederation Park, hop off your bicycle, bike or walk it over to Peaks Key or wherever you want. It's not that big a distance. So Peter didn't have a problem with that, but he was just unaware. Do you want me to follow up and ask if some sort of signage can be installed so people aren't embarrassed by that?
Sure. That would be perfect. You kind of the more you have of that, more awareness, the more people will know that. Like, I'm surprised they don't have that up already, and um, yeah, that's definitely something that should be looked at. Just
Okay.
a little a sign that says like no bikes allowed, or you can't you can walk your bike, you just can't ride it.
Okay. Thanks. I'll follow up on that. I haven't been down. Last time I cycled through there probably was May, and I haven't. Obviously, I'm gonna walk my bike next time. Okay, so that's all I had on Parks and Rec.
Okay, okay. The next one, do we have a report for police?
I have no report. I had an email from Peter too, and I think I sent it through to some people, and I might have just sent it again because it wasn't on the other system. Just regarding specific bike racks that a concerned citizen sent to him, and how they, I don't know what the proper term is, but they are horizontal when they're on the back of people's cars, and that somebody almost ran into them. I did make a call to the city police about it, just to see if there was any guidance on specific types of racks that you can not put on your car. I've
Okay.
never heard of that anywhere, but I didn't get any report back from that.
Okay. Okay.
Boys, that's a tough one, Margaret. We have a good sized bike rack on ours that carries Gordon's electric bike and my bike, so it carries two, right? But I don't think it extends beyond the scope of the car, the width of the car. But you're right, I have seen some wider ones. And generally it's sort of like pulling a trailer. Like if you have a bike rack, you just know to be extra careful with it because it's your vehicle, right? But
Yeah.
Well, they're
You wouldn't want to be tailgating.
they're up high. Like a trailer is one thing, but when they're up around your windows, like your back windows,
right.
they stick out quite a bit.
So you're going to check it out with the police and see if there's any
I did call and leave messages, but I didn't call, but I did text the bylaw officer, and I haven't heard back from him either.
Yeah. Don't know. I never
Okay.
heard about that before. All these things.
Yeah, and that could have just been one person doing that, but yeah, it definitely should be looked into. And next one, sustainability.
Okay, so I was the liaison for sustainability.
Okay.
And on that, okay, so Ramona sent us, gave us the heads up on the power assisted bicycle regulations presented by Graham Miner, and you all have that, and that's passed. It's in the Royal Gazette. And basically, as Jason said, they're battery operated. They can't exceed 30 kilometers an hour. There's still some pedal. They have to be pedaled. So anything that's gas operated or, has a bigger motor, that sort of thing, doesn't fall into that class. But as you know, the federal government had deregulated e-bikes. And so the provincial government came up with this new legislation to cover e-bikes. I checked with, I was talking to Ruth DeLong, who's the oversees the Confederation Trail in the province. And she said that the speed limit on the Confederation Trail is 28 kilometers per hour. It's not posted in that many places, but that's understood because I said in Nova Scotia, it's 30 kilometers an hour. But anyway, 28, 30, I don't think that's much of a difference. Further, Peter had also touched base with me. He was concerned that on Victoria Row, there are no biking signs there. And I don't know his views, but he just shared that concern. It's a pedway. It's no cars for sure. And it's a walkway. But what does the task force feel about the possibility of advocating for bicycles to go down Victoria Row? What is your feeling on that?
I think that's a no-brainer. I mean, to me, it's a like people drive their bikes down there to go eat. People, I mean, it's not like it's a big throughway there. The street's plenty wide. Like if they can't siphon off 6 feet for bikes, I mean, that's silly.
Okay.
I just think you need a lot of awareness for people in the middle of the way. Like that's kind of a place where somebody could run right out and the biker could bang into the person if they're not fully aware and prepared for that if they go through that. That's because there could be a little kid running across the street or something. Just, I think that maybe more awareness of how to use your bicycle at a place like that. Like even if there is if there's an additional lane, you might have to be a little careful that time. Because sometimes when there's like little concerts there by like the library, there's quite a amount of people there, so you might just want to be aware of that if that goes through for sure.
Bet you the city could put up one of the slow street initiative barriers.
Yeah.
And maybe, I was thinking about that. Like people dance in front of the little grandstand there.
Yeah, exactly.
So there are often all kinds of people going crisscross and whatnot. So I don't know if you walk your bike through if you can. I'm not sure what the exact solution is, but I definitely know there's all kinds of there's a lot of there's a lot of things on wheels going through there. And so how do you handle that?
Obviously, at one
Yeah.
point, somebody decided it should be no bikes allowed if there's signs about it. So there would have been reasoning there. Like it'd be good to kind of go back to the source.
Okay.
That's a
what I
good
mean?
point. That's what I was thinking, Carrie, because I saw people on skateboards going through there too, and somebody almost took a header there on a skateboard. They just didn't see the person.
Yeah, and you want to be careful of that with a bike there. So I'd say we should look into the reasoning why or why not there's no bikes there.
Okay, well,
See
how
how we
about
can change it.
I'll search that out and I'll bring that back to the August meeting. What I find
Okay.
out.
Okay, I'll write this down here. Okay, and do we have anything else for sustainability?
Ramona sent me a few more things, Joanne. Not to jump in on your
No,
thing.
no, I'm
it's just
done.
today. Did you have more?
Nope.
Okay. She just mentioned briefly the cycling signage, which Jason already talked about. They're partway through the installations, is what she says. She says we are nearing completion on the bypass highway phase 1. Oh, and this is for us. The mayor asked her today to begin planning a launch for this sometime in August. And she'd be happy to have the task force input on this. So she's suggesting, she says it probably won't be the turnout the same as the bridge was, but it would be good to see some publicity on the bypass being officially, that pathway being open and ready to use.
What I think would be really cool with that is to not only do the bypass, but let people know, like a lot of people don't know that there's actually trails behind the French school, and that kind of ties into it. It'd be kind of cool if, something was maybe started at the hospital end and then, it goes out to the new place on St. Peter's Road and it goes underneath the tunnel. And then they can show people kind of
Oh yeah, yeah. The place before Mel's or
yeah. That'd be kind of cool.
yeah, I'm gonna have to go by. Do you know if is it ready yet? Like, can you
They
go
paved
through
it.
the path?
The path is paved up yesterday, all the way from up by the KFC down now to the tunnel, and then up the other side.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go down there. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, I think that would be cool if we were involved to do that.
How
Like,
long
maybe
is the pathway? Does anybody know how long, like how many kilometers it is through that new area?
I'm not sure.
I don't
I
think
can
it'd be
drive it.
very long. Yeah.
On my way home from work tomorrow, I'll start my odometer count when I get to the.
Yeah, I'm just wondering like if we can share it in terms of this is like now this many kilometers of AT space are, you know, due to this. Like this is where some of the money went type of thing.
It's almost like if the mayor was just kind of, you know, hanging out and just listening. Oh, hi, Mr. Mayor. How are you? Oh,
But I'm wondering if we should have like an event that we all can go to, like a celebration of these things being created. Would that be something that people would want, or would that just be us there celebrating? And I don't know if other people would be interested in that or not. Might be.
My calendar is chock full for August as far as participating, anything like that. I think
Okay.
it would be lovely to do sometime in September, you know, but I don't know what the city's plan for the launch of that. Mr. Mayor, do you know for the bypass pathway ready to open? Have you got a date?
You're muted, Mr. Mayor. Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah,
There you
we're,
go.
we're looking at August.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah. So, and it will join up with the release, hopefully the awarding of the second stage tender. And that second stage tender will take the pathway from St. Peter's Road parallel to the arterial highway to Brackley Point Road.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mr.
So
Mayor,
we were,
would you?
so we
is
were
that
looking
date-
at.
Is that date
Yeah, we were
hard
just
set for
looking at,
August?
what's that?
Is that date hard set for August?
No, it's open because we didn't want to do it in July
Yeah.
for the principal reason, all the area on both sides of the pathway, active transportation pathway, they have not sprayed the seed on it yet.
Yeah.
So we want to
I
get
was
some
just-
green there.
I was just thinking, if you did it in September, and there's a couple reasons that might be nice for that, less tourist traffic, and it kind of more towards biking. But the other thing is too, I think at the rate they're going in St. Peter's Road, they might even have some of that active transportation trail done then. So you could kind of get, you know, two things happening. You could get the, you know, you've got one section done, and there's that part of St. Peter's Road, and then also the awarding. Then it might be a good time to do it in September. The other thing too is more people would be less busy in September. So if we wanted, you know, Islanders to kind of come out for that, it might be a better time.
Mhm. Yeah, what we're looking at is joining it up with the extension of the pathway from the bridge, from the Hillsborough Bridge, to say
Yeah.
this is the second phase. The third phase is now under construction, and then hopefully next year, the fourth phase that will take us to Mount Everett Road, Brackley Point to Mount Everett Road, and then to the Confederation Trail. Yeah, you know that, Jason, and that's not a hard set in stone date. We were looking at sometime in August. I just don't want to leave it too long
I
because
suppose, sorry, Mayor, just to interrupt you. I hear what you're saying because this is bicycling time, right? Bicycling is on everybody's mind before you go into the next stage. Yeah. Like August, sure.
yes. So I spoke to Ramona this afternoon, but before this afternoon or this evening's meeting, and she suggested sometime in August. But again, it's flexible. I'm not set on August, but I don't want to leave it too late. I want to make sure that it's early enough that it's
Yeah,
early into the new year, into the fall, end of summer, or again sometime in August. But that's what we're planning to do.
The last week of August, first week of September might be.
Yeah,
nice.
early September in the latest.
Okay, that could be the compromise. Late August, early September. And I hopefully will have the whole area sprayed with the grass seed, and it'll, you know, provide a nice backdrop for the opening. And we can gather there at Murchison Lane. Just, I'd say, there's some area there that we can have some made across the road from the pathway, the existing pathway to the lights. That could be the staging area, and then move from there.
Lots of grass there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wonder how many showed up for the opening of the Kerry? How many were at the opening for the Hillsborough Bridge? It must have been 100.
The Thursday event?
Yeah, when the official opening.
I'm not
No.
sure. I assumed it was 50 because of the numbers, the COVID numbers.
Okay, good point. Okay. Whereas
But
when Bike Friendly Community had their opening, there must have been 150 plus because
we
there were
we had
cars.
150. That was the max we could have,
Yeah.
and we were pretty much at that. So it was really great.
And I'm over that bridge almost every day because we have our business on the Mason Road. There are bikers, walkers, moms, dads with baby carriages. It's just great. It's being used.
Mhm.
Same
I
as
was
the
surprised. I was surprised how many walkers are using it. I think that's great.
And runners, because I guess they can get a clear go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought it
So
was
it's been
gonna
a
be bike-
great addition.
Yeah, no, excellent.
So pretty
And,
exciting.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I kind of have a question regarding the pathway on St. Peter's Road. And let's say I'm on Norwood, and I'm coming up to where all the apartments are and all there. Is there any way for me to connect to this pathway through like Norwood or off that area? Or do I have to go all the way up to St. Peter's Road and cut through across the street where KFC is and go down that way to get to that pathway? Is there any way for me to access the pathway through the other direction, or is it just I'm just kind of confused about
There's a couple ways.
exactly.
Yeah, you can go across at the roundabout, the first roundabout by KFC, and there's the active
Okay.
transportation that goes around that way. You can also go through Hillsborough Development, and if you come out at the other side of Hillsborough Development, right in the middle there, where there's a set of lights, that will also join you up to that new path.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of a path through the woods as well behind KFC. It's not maintained very well in there, but
No.
you can also get out that way too.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking more in the like where I forget the name of the street off Norwood where all the condominiums and apartment buildings are. Like, I don't know if there's a pathway to cut through there. It's just
There,
I was,
yeah, with the new bridge that they just put in, they did put in the trail that goes underneath the bridge, and they built a trail that
Okay.
goes down beside the pond, so you can go down that now. It's paved down past the apartments, and then you can either go under the bridge in the tunnel, or you can make a left, and that will take you into Norwood through a walking path up the other way.
okay. Okay, because that's kind of what I was. Because it'd be nice if I don't have to go all the way up Norwood and St. Peter's Road to get there. If I can cut through that, that's real
Yeah.
cool, and I'll
Yeah.
might even go try that right after this just to check it out. So
Yeah, and Ryan, that pathway on the north side of St. Peter's Road, between the pedestrian underpass and the lights and the roundabout, that's already paved,
okay,
correct? Yeah, and that will be paved right up to McCrae Drive. There'll be an active transportation pathway extended up to McCrae Drive, Angus Drive, and McWilliams Road.
okay,
So
yeah,
it's
I'll go check it out.
it's starting to grow, and we're planning to, the city plans to extend the pathway, active transportation pathway off Grafton Street East and Riverside Drive intersection down to the Joe Giz Park.
Okay,
So you can come off the bridge, connect to the Confederation Trail by crossing crossing from east to west, get in there by the Tim Hortons and drive down to the Joe Giz Park on an active transportation pathway. That's the plan, to take that sidewalk out.
Yep.
Okay.
And
You mean
that was one of the things we
you mean in
advocated
front of
for,
the,
guys.
the Wendy's, is that what you meant? That
Yeah,
sidewalk?
that's the plan. Yeah.
That's,
So there's a,
that's
Jason, there's
excellent.
already sidewalk there. I think they plan to either widen the sidewalk or take the sidewalk, take out the, I shouldn't say demolish, but take the sidewalk out and replace it with an asphalt pathway of 8 feet wide.
Right.
Perfect.
Anyways, it's really looking good around the city. And have you been out to Cornwall? It's paved right to
yeah.
the, it's paved
Cornwall
right
looks
to
great.
the Cornwall, the town hall in Cornwall.
Yeah, and it's got all that lighting too.
And it has the lighting. Yeah. So that'll take you right into the corner of, I call it the Queen's Arms intersection. And Ramona would like to extend that pathway right up Spencer Drive to connect with the Confederation Trail. So lots of good plans. All we need, Joe, is the money. Any money? Show me the money.
Well, I had my friend there from Halifax, the MP. He gave us quite a bit of money. I didn't personally meet him or anything. He attended the same winter cycling conference that I did from Scandinavia back in the winter, and he's the one that was handing out the money. And I think Ramona has tried, and you people have tried to access as much as you can for this year. You've done well, very, very well.
And there's still a bag of money there that Catherine McKenna left on her departure when she will not she's not reoffering as an MP in the next federal election. But
Right.
I believe there's a pot of money or $400 million there for the whole country.
Yes. Yeah. No,
But Ryan, could I just pass on one comment? You
Sure.
notice at the bridge, Hillsborough Bridge, you have the pedestrian crossing, which is in green. And then to the sides, you have the bike crossing. We should be recommending that for our pathway crossings at Belvedere Avenue, Allen Street, Longworth Avenue. Where we have our connection to the, it's actually Belvedere would be the crossing from the south side to the north side of the Confederation Trail, same as on Allen Street, Longworth Avenue. Because some
Yes.
pedestrians are telling cyclists they shouldn't be on the pedestrian walkway when they're crossing these intersections.
Where are they supposed to go?
Well, that's why what they did at the bridge, and I see they're doing it elsewhere. You have the pedestrian walkway in the middle, and on the sides, on both the left side, the right side, you have the decals for the bicycles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Mr. Mayor, that is the best crossing I ever saw, and knock on wood, safe and everything like that, at Grafton Street, the bridge, and Riverside Drive. Like, that's what they show in all the videos. Exactly what was constructed there is
Yeah.
in all the movies and videos that we get from the US and other parts of Canada. It was
Yeah.
very sophisticated.
Yeah.
So yes, I have heard from cyclists that they don't feel safe crossing Allen Street, Belvedere, Longworth. Well, Longworth I think is improved, but Belvedere and Allen Street, they don't, no matter what. So if that would help cyclists and pedestrians, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
So do you want a recommendation?
I
from
think it should
task
come
force?
from, Joanne, I think it should come from this task force. And I believe you report to Environment and Sustainability, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And I think the pedestrian pathway, if you look at the one on the Hillsborough Bridge at Grafton Street,
Yeah.
Riverside Drive, and Water Street Parkway, the pedestrian pathway is green, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And
And
then
I
to the
love that.
sides, to both left and right, they have the decals or the markings for cyclists.
Okay.
So-
I'll do up that motion, I'll move that we do that, and I'll put it on the Form 84 or whatever it is and send that to Ramona. But can we have a seconder? Oh, great.
I'll
Margaret,
second.
Margaret will second it. Carrie, I'll give you the wording. I think you've
Okay.
got it there anyway.
But is it clear what I'm, like,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pedestrian crossing should be green?
Yes,
Like they have, and then it's very clear that it's a crossing for cyclists, walkers, rollerbladers, skateboarders, whatever else.
okay.
Like,
So,
even for somebody like me,
That,
like
I,
I'd go in the middle, like to avoid I'd be with the walkers and I'd go in the middle, and the bike lanes would be on the side, pretty much.
Ryan, you're right. It's for all users. And Ryan, that's what you're seeing at Victoria Park since we changed it to an active transportation pathway, that inside lane. There are more people using it. When it was just for cyclists, many people said, why do we have that laneway closed? Now people are walking, cycling, rollerblading, skateboarding, dancing, you name it.
can we have a vote for that? How many people are in favor of that motion?
Everybody.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so I'll follow up on that, and Carrie, I'll get you the details for the minutes, and I'll
Thank you.
send that to Ramona, and the Ramona will send it to Sustainable Committee.
Yeah.
And then, Mr. Mayor, where does it go after Sustainable Committee? Does it go right
Public
to council?
Works.
Goes to Public Works next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll have to buy some green paint.
It's expensive, I've been told. I've asked about it before. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's just the most greatest, anyway, that was ever done, was that bridge and the intersection.
And riding across the bridge with the railing up there on both sides, it cuts down the wind, so it's not as wind resistant. The wind is cut down a bit because of that fencing. So it's helped, and it's safer.
Sure.
And the other item, Ryan, do we have to replace 2 members?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Do
we
we?
may want to
do
make
we,
a request that we need to replace it, or did you already make that request to the Environment Sustainability Committee? We'll do another call.
No, I was unaware of how that operates, so I'm kind of.
Just say that if 2 members we need to replace 2 of our members, Peter Rukavina and Heather Rossler.
Okay. So can we like request people that we think would be good candidates, or is it?
Well, you could make sure they
Yeah.
apply.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have to apply. The old days of the office, the mayor appointing members to committees, they left because of that MGA Blair. I was going to say Blair McLaughlin or Wayne McLaughlin introduced and passed in the legislature.
Okay.
So it's just anyone you know, tell them to submit an application, and it's online.
Okay. Oh, let them know. And anyone else, if you have someone who think would be a good person to be involved in this, let them know. So with that, do we have any more reports on sustainability?
Ramona just also mentioned that Bike Week went well this year. She says we didn't have the turnout we would have liked for the family rides, but overall we're happy with how things turned out. But if there's any reflection from the task force, she'd be happy to hear.
The only thing I would say was the weather was pitiful that week. Like a couple of times that they had tours or rides planned, it rained. So I imagine it was hard to get a response for that. Did you hear how the ones with Charlottetown bike friendly communities went, Carrie?
Yeah, Mitch loved doing those, and there was a good little group. The one night it was like torrential rain. There was one guy came out in that one, And then Mitch went, but the other two.
Did Mitch go out?
Oh yeah, no, he was there. He went. You know that he goes out in the rain.
I know, yeah.
So,
Joanne
but he-
was supposed to come up with us that Saturday and we waited and waited for her.
no.
Yeah, cold and rainy. I don't think so. Sorry, Carrie, can you tell us the other
No,
two?
it's just he found it to be such a positive experience because he was able to be like to point out little, like paths and little shortcuts that people weren't aware of, and they were really like, oh wow, I never thought of doing that, and he enjoyed it so much that he'd like to continue offering them like as bike friendly communities, sort of casually, like ongoing. So yeah, he found it really good experience.
Well, it's good for our city to have a volunteer like that, Mr. Mayor.
No, yeah.
Yeah. When you mentioned that, Peter Ruckavina, when we started this a couple of years ago, and I was saying I needed a safe way to get to Sobeys from the Confederation Trail, and he suggested I go through the back of the research station. Well, guess what, folks? I'm going through the Legacy Garden now all the time, and they've got it mowed really well, and they have like to get their vehicles in to service the gardens. They've got, pretty good flat surface. So I can get from the Confederation Trail to the Legacy Garden to Sobeys without going on Allen Street. So I'm pretty pleased about that.
Congrats.
Mm.
Yeah, and regarding Bike Week, it sounds like it went very good. Looking to the future, next year's Bike Week will be interesting because we'll have all these pathways and we can have like a tour of the pathways kind of thing. So that's a good thing to look forward to in the future, I'd say.
Oh, while we're talking, Mr. Mayor, what about the one, or maybe I should wait for Public Works sometime, that was talked about a shared bike pathway you talked about from Euston Street to Belvedere on the east side of University Avenue. Will that happen in 2021, do you expect?
So Scott Adams, our chief engineer for Public Works, EXP engineering out of Moncton, they have 95 offices all over North America. Scott has the preliminary plans for that proposal. So we should get a copy of the proposal. And I know, Joanne, that there's some talk about getting some of the businesses working together on that stretch of road between Euston and Belvedere to create, a business improvement area. And that would be definitely a top of agenda for them to make that pathway a reality.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, but the plan is with Scott Adams, and I can get a copy of it, and we can I can forward it to Ryan or forward it to any one of you, and then you can, or maybe it's too big of a file, and I'll find out and I'll report as a follow-up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. And next, do we have a recycling PEI report?
I did have one call from them, and that was a few weeks ago, and they were just kind of wondering because they had provided, I think it was during the start of COVID or around that time, about the signage and the lines. They were just kind of wondering where that was, and I got in contact with Ramona, and she wrote back, said that it was in progress, so I let them know that. Other than that, nothing else.
Okay. Okay, and last but not least, bike friendly Charlottetown.
Like friendly communities now.
Okay, okay.
That's okay. I'll keep doing it.
I have to tell Doug.
No, he's got it in his new template, so it must just be the agenda. The minutes, it's correct.
Okay.
We've got lots on the go internally. We had a really, really successful Bridge Ride event. And it went like as good as it could go, basically. And it was a pretty special day to celebrate that. And what else was I going to say? And I want to mention as well, Cycling PEI actually partnered with us on that event. So the two groups came together and we're have a new and awesome working relationship with them. So it's great. We're all on the same team. I don't have a lot more to share right at this moment, guys. But we'll keep doing what we do.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Could I just say one thing, Ryan? Carrie, it was very well organized. How the cohorts were broken into, I think, in 3 groups, but it went just off like it rode a very well planned, and how we went through the park and then went into the parking lot, and then onto the bridge. I know the RCMP were quite impressed by how everything was so organized, leaving and then coming back. So kudos to Bike Friendly Communities and Cycle PEI for organizing a great event and a great day for it too.
It was. We got lucky. Thank you. Yeah, the whole team really came together to make that happen and to make sure it was going to go smoothly and to test out the routes we were going to take. And yeah, it was a really collaborative effort.
Very well done.
And as
Thank
a
you.
participant, it was very enjoyable.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you.
Okay. And do we have any new business to discuss?
I guess the only thing I'm just going to ask is, when is the next meeting in August? Does anybody have a calendar in front of them?
Yeah, I have it written down here. Just give me a second here.
I usually have these things, but I don't have it today. And
Yeah, I think it's the 17th.
It is.
17th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
At that meeting, we will need to prepare if in September Frank Quinn is going to come for Parks and Rec, I believe.
Frank Quinn, okay.
So if we're having the August meeting, I think that was undecided at our last, when I went through the minutes, but we would need to kind of prepare for what do we want to discuss, what do we want to cover. In the minutes, it says that Peter's report that he had on the trails would be presented by the chair to Frank Quinn. That's what it says in the minutes.
yep. And so that's June 15th. Peter sent that email out with his PowerPoint presentation.
Oh,
So I wonder, Jason, can you arrange to have that presented again at the September meeting, that we could go through it slide by slide with Frank Quinn? Would
Sure.
that be possible?
Yep, I'll write that down here.
is there any appetite to meet in person in the council chamber, or you just like doing it by Zoom?
I like meeting in person. Like, I don't know if that can change, but I can do either or.
I can do either or.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just something to think about.
I'll do it while we can, because you don't know when the next lockdown's going to happen. So let's get out.
Yeah.
We're allowed to do that now.
We're allowed 15 in the chamber,
Okay.
Okay.
and if you
Talking
wanna make a-
weaponry, or are you talking this committee?
what's that?
That was a bad joke. I said, are you talking weaponry or this community? You said you're allowed 15 in the chamber.
I think all things are good there, Jason. So if you wish, and there's also a 72-inch screen if you want to make a presentation to Frank Quinn or anyone else.
Is that new? I don't remember it being that big before.
Yeah, we purchased it for presentations during council meetings
Oh, great.
of any visitors that would come into the chamber. And
So
there's
is
one here.
this effective September? Are we gonna move this to September to come back as a group together?
Sounds good to me. Carrie, how do you feel?
Yep, I can do
September the
it.
21st and August is the 17th.
Thank you.
Yep, 21st.
Do
Okay.
we need to schedule that through Doug or anything like that?
Yeah, go through Doug, Carrie.
Okay.
And if we're planning to do the opening at the end of August, it may fall after the 17th and before the September meeting, which is, what was it, did you say? The 21st?
21st.
Yeah. So the opening will be there sometime between that 17th and 21st, 17th of August, 21st of September.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Good?
Okay.
Okay, so who's doing the minutes for August? I'll do them in September, but I need somebody to do them in August.
I don't mind doing them again, Joanne. I seem to have
Thank
the
you,
flow
Carrie.
going here.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Great.
I got it figured out. I might as well do another
Thank you,
round.
Carrie.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Any more new business?
So I'll have more, Ryan, if it's any time after the 17th for this opening, I'll have more information on the 17th.
Okay, perfect. Okay. And with that, I guess the meeting is adjourned.
Okay.
Have a great summer.
Thank you.